We all have those games or game series that we never played. Maybe we've read about them, looked at the game cover at the store, or watched gameplay footage, but for some reason or another never played them. I have several of those myself, like the Silent Hill series, the Dragon Warrior games, or Bioshock. But one of those that I eventually did get around to playing was Yakuza on the PlayStation 2. From the title screen to the credits, I was hooked. After finishing the game, I gathered the sequels and played them through also. It actually became one of my favorite game series of all time. Because I like the games so much, and because I want more people to enjoy them, I'm going to review them all. Before playing Yakuza, I was under the impression that it was a GTA-like game set in Japan, like I think most people out there think. Like it's GTA Tokyo. But it's not at all like GTA. You can't even drive a car for starters. No, it's more like a beat-em-up, RPG adventure game. You roam freely around Kamurocho, a red light district of Tokyo modeled after the real-life area of Kabukicho. The game feels distinctively like an RPG when random thugs stop you on the street and fight you. It's like random encounters. But you can avoid them if you keep running, usually. When you do enter a battle, you're transported to a sectioned off part of the street and fight the enemies like a beat-em-up. You have your standard combo, throw and strong kick. But as you fight you gain experience and level up. Then you can learn new moves and get more health. A big part of what makes the fighting so fun are the heat moves. As you beat people up you increase your heat bar until you start glowing blue. When you are in heat, you can grab people, drag them towards a wall for instance, press triangle, and then smash them into said wall. You can also use it to stomp people when they're down, use weapons in creative ways, and more. There are many different heat moves to discover. Guns are in the game too, but they are relatively rare. You don't aim them like you would in other games, you just press triangle and you'll automatically target a nearby enemy. Guns are surprisingly weak though, out of cutscenes at least. Weapons are a lot of fun to use though, and on top of regular ones like bats, knives and swords, you can pick up traffic cones, bikes, pipes, chairs, tables, trash cans and more. It reminds me of Dead Rising in that regard, but more so it reminds me of River City Ransom. Another thing that reminds me of River City Ransom is how you can eat at restaurants to get health and experience. Oh, and both series had a spin-off set in medieval Japan. When you're not following the story, there's plenty to see and do. There are restaurants, bars, a massage parlor that I can't figure out how to play, a strip club where the girls don't actually take their clothes off, and Club Sega. I thought Club Sega was just an advertisement for Sega, but apparently they exist in real life too. Unfortunately, unlike in Shenmue, you can't play Space Harrier or Hang-On in there, only those UFO catcher machines. Two of the bigger minigames are the Battle Coliseum, where you fight people in cage matches, and the Hostess Clubs. They exist in real life too, and they're basically a place where you go to date high-class girls. But it's super manipulative. Even more so than real dating, I mean. It can be a little funny though sometimes to pick the obviously wrong conversation option and see how they react. Hey! Running around Kamurocho and talking to people, you sometimes trigger side quests. They range from trivial stuff like give a drunk some sake, protect someone, or something else. But most side quest ends in you fighting someone, but that's not a bad thing. A few of them are wacky. There's one where you go to a strip club, but it turns out that the dancer is a man, and the shotgun he was dancing with was in fact intended to shoot you with. I think there's something like 40 to 50 side quests in total, and it will take a fair amount of time to clear them all. What really makes this game great, besides the fighting, is the story. Kazuma Kiryu is the dragon of Dojima, but one fateful night he finds that his best friend Nishiki has shot his boss, Mo Green style, and to save Nishiki from prison he takes the blame himself and gets sent to prison for 10 years. When he gets out of prison he finds that Nishiki is now a very different man. and that his other friend and love interest Yumi has disappeared along with 10 billion of the Tojo clan's money. Yakuza from both inside and outside his Tojo clan chase after both the money and the position of chairman. Kazuma also meets a little girl named Haruka early on, whom he has to lead around a lot and rescue several times. But it's not as aggravating as it sounds. And over the course of the game and the series, both Kazuma and I grew to care about her a lot. There are a lot of twists and turns, but rest assured, it's good. Kazuma is a sympathetic character. Although he doesn't show much emotion usually, he's a man of principles, trying to defend the people he cares about. The unique thing about the first game is that it has English voice acting. For instance, Michael Madsen plays Shimano, one of the villains.
You won't get past me.
And Mark Hamill plays Goro Majima, a certified madman.
You know what I mean, don't you? This is the part where you're supposed to laugh! Laugh, you stupid motherfucker!
When I played the game the first time, I didn't know who did the voices. But now that I know, I can't unlearn that Mark Hamill is doing Majima, sounding like the Joker. The voice acting got a lot of criticism, and in subsequent games they went with Japanese voices and English subtitles. That was the better choice, because it goes better with the ultra-Japanese feeling the games have. But honestly, I didn't mind the voice acting in the first game. Then again, I didn't mind the voice acting in the original Resident Evil either, so I guess I'm not the person to talk. In my opinion, although the gameplay of Yakuza is great, the story is the best thing about this game. And I would love to tell you all about it, but I really don't want to spoil anything for you. Just know that it's good. Very good. And it should be. Yakuza 1 and 2 was written by Seishu Hase, a crime novelist very famous in Japan. On the technical side, I think the game has good graphics for a PS2 game released in 2005. People look like people and there's a lot of detail. Many people walk the streets at the same time, but some of the extras look a bit sketchy. The camera hovers above you similarly to Resident Evil, although it does move around to follow you. But when you enter a new area, so to speak, or go around a corner, the screen freezes for a short moment while it loads. It's no Zelda's Adventure, but it can get annoying sometimes. Sometimes the game uses FMV scenes instead of the game engine, and it can look a bit obvious and out of place. I like the music a lot, the rock and roll-tastic battle themes and the atmospheric music on the streets that set the mood. I even like the Japanese song played inside the Don Quixote store, which is actually the theme song of the store, which exists in real life too. The sound effects are good, but although the street ambience is well made, some of the same sounds repeat themselves fairly often. I really like this game. It's really a shame that it's not more widely known in America or Europe. The sequels made improvements in both graphics and gameplay, but the story in the first one still stands as one of the very best in the series. I say get this game any way you can. eBay, Amazon, your local video game store, a friend. Try it. What do you have to lose?